Brown Pride from Wilmington, California, which consisted of Aztec, DJ Jam and Jay, MC Pep, and MC Tone, released an album on Familia. Is it true that they were supposed to release a second project, but the audio engineer skipped town and took the recordings and cut ties with everyone?
Long story short, yeah. So we had the second one done, which was like a phenomenal album. Everybody put their heart, everything into it. One song that survived that was a song called "If Blasting You Is Wrong." We don't want to be right.
I wanna be right.
Yeah, so that's me singing the hook on there.
Oh, okay.
And then so that's a song that survived that. But yeah, so that was kind of, it's tough, man, when you do an album and then you want to recreate the same thing. It's just
never happens, right? Something's always off a little bit, or
so
I remember you saying in a past interview that project was one of the best projects you worked on, or something along those lines.
So
Talk to me about working on that project and why you felt that way.
Because we had success with the first one. We knew we had some songs that were better, the group was better, everything, the rapper was better, music was better, so you could really see improvement. As far as my production, it was better. So it's just one of those things.
Brown Pride is part of the early to mid 1990s Harbor area, South Bay, Southeast LA Chicano rap movement. Their sound and their themes sit with the barrio narratives and local party and ghetto life tracks typical of regional Chicano rap of that period. Their Living in the Barrio era material is considered a local classic by collectors and West Coast hip-hop heads. They hail from Wilmington, California, an industrial port community, oil shipping industry with strong working class and Latino Chicano populations. The kind of barrio that spawned several localized rap acts in the late 80s and 90s. Living in the Barrio by Brown Pride was released in 1993 on Familia Records. Their song On a Friday Night is commonly listed as the group's best known single and standout track. There were reportedly plans for a follow-up album, but the project ended up lost in the process. The audio engineer skipped town, he left with all the recordings, and he cut ties with the group and the record label. As recent as 2023, it is reported that MC Peps from Brown Pride was planning on releasing new solo material using local known producers. However, there is no record of any other members creating any music after their debut album. I remember I used to get Brown Pride and Brown Side mixed up all the time. I still do to this day sometime when I'm talking about them. I wish there was more information on this group out there, but I came across very little during my research. If anyone out there knows how I can get in contact with any of the members of Brown Pride, please shoot me a DM on Instagram at DustyVisionRadio. Artists like this deserve their flowers. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do this kind of content on my channel, to give those unsung heroes a voice. If you appreciate what you're hearing, I want you to please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you appreciate this interview that I'm doing with Murray Brumfield, please let me know. And I will be posting the full interview in the description once I release all of the clips, so you can check out the full interview in its entirety. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might like this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. A year or so ago, Fat Joe came out with some comments that made headlines, ruffled some feathers, when he said that Latinos are just as responsible for the creation of hip hop as black people are. I'm paraphrasing it. It wasn't word for word, but that was the gist of what he said. You know, you being from the Bronx, you know, you weren't around in the early 70s when it, you know, was going down, I'm sure. But, you know, just even being an older cat in hip hop, what are your thoughts on that? Do you believe, do you know, do you think that Latinos were just as responsible for the creation of hip hop as black people are?
I mean, when I heard Fat Joe say that, and I ain't gonna lie, I see no lie in his statement. Now keep in mind, I grew up in the Bronx in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So, I was born in 81. I don't really have a pure recollection of what it was like in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But I know what it was like in the 90s, and I know that far back as I can remember, watching the movie Beat Street and seeing videos and people spinning on their heads and spinning on cardboard boxes, and even trying to do that myself. You know what I'm saying? I've always seen Hispanics side by side with black people, especially in the Bronx. So I can't deny that Hispanics weren't there or around or have been highly influential with hip hop, because every time I stepped outside, there were Hispanic people around me, mostly Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? A couple Dominicans, but Hispanics were everywhere in the Bronx, like everywhere. They were a part of everything that we did. To be honest with you, it wasn't until I moved out of New York that I started hearing that Hispanics shouldn't use the word nigga, because in the Bronx we was all niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even hesitate when a Hispanic friend of mine would call me a nigga, or I would say it to him too. So, like, in my personal opinion, we was all niggas. We was all in the hood. We was all trying to break dance. We were all right there at the hip hop parties. So I don't think he's wrong for saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the logistics of it. I don't know, like, who was the first person to ever spit a rap, and whether or not that's what they're talking about. The Hispanics wasn't around for that very first rap cipher. I don't know, but you can't even escape Hispanics in the Bronx. Are you kidding me? Like, yep. We couldn't be around without them, because we was all in the hood together. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly. I'm out here in LA. Obviously, you know, hip hop as we know it didn't start out here, but I do know that for as long as I can remember, I was the dude who introduced me to hip hop was Hispanic. You know what I mean? Like, we were always side by side, man. So, and I get a lot of slack for that, being a black guy. I'm sure you probably, you know, will get a lot of slack in the comments for this, but I truly believe, and I wasn't there just like you weren't there, but to say that Hispanics didn't have a big impact and in the creation of hip hop, I think is crazy. I think it's crazy.
Yeah. Especially in the different elements of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
Hip hop is just the rap. You know what I'm saying? It's the clothing, it's the dancing. You know what I'm saying? Break dancing. There's different elements of hip hop, and some of the best break dancers were Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about real life. I'm talking about real life, going to a party, seeing somebody break dance. You know what I'm saying? Which you probably will never see that anymore. But going to a party, seeing somebody break dance. Some actually being on the street and seeing somebody whip out a cardboard box, a flat cardboard box, put it on the ground, and start dancing. It was definitely Hispanic people doing that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely contributed. in more ways than one.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, man. Let's talk about what you got going on, dog. I know you got a lot going on, homie. You got your Coliseum, you got ShortyRockNYC.com, Pretty Goons Clothing, GDE Mafia Clothing and Apparel. I'm probably leaving something out, but break down what you got going on, what you got coming up next, promote whatever you want. The floor is yours, homie.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it real simple. All you got to do is download the Coliseum app, which is the Coliseum is spelled KHALISEUM, and you can download it on Android devices, iOS devices, which includes Apple Watch, iPhone, iPad, and brand new. You can download it on Amazon Fire TVs, as well as Amazon products too. So if you got a Kindle or a Fire tablet, you can download it on there too. But inside the Coliseum is basically my life's work, which is basically, we have a radio station in there. On the Coliseum, you can actually shop the 3 different clothing brands that we have, which is Pretty Goons Clothing, GD Mafia Clothing and Apparel, and then we also have the American Lion Associate Clothing and Apparel. You can listen and stream music. You can read magazines. But it's basically an app where you can go on there and get all of your entertainment needs in one simple app. And if you don't have the ability to download any app, because maybe your phone is filled up or whatever, you can also go to thecoliseum.com. But pretty much that's what it is. Everything that I do is inside that app. I directed, shot my own movie. That's in the app. I manage about 5 different artists, singers, and rappers. Their music is also in the app. I do events, fashion shows. We have podcasts. We have about 6 different podcasts on our podcast network, and we're looking for more podcasts too. You know what I'm saying? But our podcast network, if you want to listen to the talk shows, radio shows, if you want to listen to women empowerment shows, if you want to listen to shows where people go out to different events and interview the people at the events, we have those podcasts also on there too. And we're looking to continue to build the podcast network, recruit other podcasters to be a part of this collective that we have. Because right now, most podcasts are either on the computer or they're on the Intune app or whatever it's called, or Tune Up app or whatever. We're building our own community, and we're probably the only podcast network that's on Fire TV. I don't see no other podcast network or podcast that have the ability to be in 100 million homes. That's how many Fire Sticks are out there. It's 100+ million Fire Sticks and people with Fire TVs. And we're in every single Fire TV. So
nice, dude.
But yeah,
nice and simple, man. Yeah, definitely check that out. And I'm gonna have the Coliseum app, the link in the description, so you guys can please check that out. Download the app, and for a small price, I think $2.99, you get access to a lot of dope content. Am I correct in saying it's $2.99?
Yeah, so $2.99. So it's free to download the app. It's free to listen to the music and the podcast. But we also have a feature on there where you can watch over 500 movies and television shows. So it's a place where it's kind of like Netflix, but there's also a social network too. So it's like if Netflix and Facebook had a baby, it would have created the Coliseum. You know what I'm saying? Because you can still upload pictures, you can talk to people, chat with people, video chat, socialize, and then for $2.99 you get access to 500 movies and television shows. So this is definitely an app that you want to have, and it's nothing like it. It's the world's first movie streaming podcast network, social network.
I love that, homie. I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, Shorty, keep up the great work, man. Like I said, I dig, your drive and the fact that you're still putting out great music and, just your love for hip hop and the culture and in general. And you're definitely doing something positive out there. So I appreciate you, man. Definitely look forward to staying in touch with you.